Hi, the amazing Apollo. It is Neo here, and I'm going to cover a few things with you. Obviously, I've watched the whole VOD. I recorded the whole VOD, but unfortunately, I messed with the aspect ratio, and you could only see about 67% of the screen. So, even though you could see the crosshair, and you probably could have gotten the message about, we're gonna just re-record the whole thing. So let's go. Take two. We do it once more again. Um, so the biggest thing I saw in your VOD is I really want you trying to weave in a little bit more damage, and and the other thing I want you to do is think about staging in between fights. So we'll talk about that second point a little bit more, but I'm gonna show you like how we can weave in more damage, and if you just kind of add this tactic, at least we'll be able to have more opportunities for damage, and it'll be the same amount of damage without it'll do the same amount of healing with, and will do more damage without losing uptime in this way. You will actually lose a hair of healing, but the amount of damage you're doing, the amount of pressure you're going to be putting on the enemy team will be worth it. And that will also lead to you being more used to the weapon, and there's like just layers effect of being able to add in more damage and more pressure on the team overall. That means that you guys can heal after the fight's over, and it'll leave us in a better spot. So if you look at my ammo right now, one of the best things about Lifeweaver is we never have to reload. So I have 5 ammo right now, and we're going to heal these bots up. And now we're at 2, and now this is our 1, and this is our last one. Instead of reloading, we can just fire until our bullets are down under 30, and then look, we have full ammo again. And this works the other way too, so now that I've done these pedals, I have full ammo, go back down to under 30 bullets, and we're there again. So I actually just watch my ammo if I know my aim is going to be in the right spot, so then I can swap. And like I said, it works the other way too, so we for feeling ourselves reload here, we can just swap to the other thing, try and get some healing out, and then if we see like these bots are pretty full, damage once again. Under 30, we're good. So if you get really used to like this pattern, and if you see people are full like this, we can swap to damage and make sure we're getting value here, because then when they need healing again, we're making sure we're getting the most value. I really like your kind of healing patterns of like making sure you're shooting out like 40 to 50 every time. That's really nice. And generally, like I said, your positioning is decent. It definitely could be better. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna look at that, and let's watch the VOD. So I really want you to think about like these opportunities where you can try and weave in more damage.
Ready
Okay.
for battle.
The air calls ล่องไปกับสายลม
Okay. So even this, I love it. I feel like Lifeweaver is one of the best supports in terms of breaking shields. Even here, though, we can just keep doing damage. There's healers on Moira. She should be able to output enough healing for this team in general. We hear the Bastion, which is something we should be scared of. But we can just keep pushing in damage until we see people hit, like... I think in the other VOD I said we should really start healing when people hit, like, 65% health. So right before they hit critical, because of how our healing works, it'll be more valuable if people are not critical, because if they're critical they're gonna die, but if they're not that close to full either. So I wouldn't even think about healing until people hit like less than 70% full or flat out critical. So even here I'd weave in more damage. It's fine because we know the Hanzo's low, but once we're here, just weave more damage in. And we want to save our Czar. This is fine. Yeah, even there, the reload. Like, we're watching our Zarya. We know we can pull her if we need to. I'd like for us to try and play on a pedal over here. I didn't mind when we crossed over here and we were playing around here, but if we're up on this, if we're up on the high ground at this angle, the monkey, if he wants to get us, has to commit a cooldown to get to us. The only thing we're really scared of is the Bastion, but if we have the pedal sort of where you're standing now, which is really nice how you're hugging this natural cover, you can still kind of like peek, but from the high ground of like out in, up in here. And then you could also pull your Zarya closer. It's fine, I like this. Even here I want us weaving in more damage. This is fine because our Zarya's low. Yeah, I would focus on her there. And now that we're kind of at this angle, if we're at this angle, we can be actually all the way back and up here, and we'll get a very similar effect to the position we're playing now, except if the enemy team wants to get us, they have to commit a cooldown, and we also have view of this window. So we have So if we want to, we can try and weave in damage over this way, as well as being able to heal our team. So just think about, like, this is a good position. Up there is a great position. So that's what I want us to try and do. It's like, oh, okay, you're really, what you're playing natural cover very, very well. I think we can do it even better if we think about trying to get on a high ground as well. And you're probably one of the best people in the entire game to go and get those high grounds. So you can kind of, it's fine if you even just play where you have been on a pedal. I think that will still give you a very, very good, like, LOS of the fight, even if you're just playing here on a pedal. But if you use a pedal to get up here, and then the Winston jumps you, well, guess what? You can go back here and you can pedal up again, and he won't have a cooldown to touch you. So it's kind of, if we use pedals to get places, then the cooldown is so short, we'll have it again by the next time. Oh man, I remember. Okay, one thing I was gonna mention was the super jump, but I also remember you're very good at pedal super jump, so that's fine. The other people just won't get to know about pedal super jump. Yeah, even here you could have done it. Or did you do that reload, or? No, it was the last one. So even if you just feel yourself reloading, just switch guns. Try and send out, like I said, down to 30% ammo. You get a feel for it the longer you do it. And then you'll have it again. It sucks yours already decided to play there. I don't mind this. This fight is maybe salvageable. If we anything, we need to make sure we can pull the Hanzo. Yeah, nice try. So, quick tip with this, I mention this all the time, I want people to get into this habit a lot more. If you hold the input for life grip, because we see the Hanzo is in this position, we see he's moving this way, and he's going to be, it's like really, you're going to be time specific to get to him if you even can. And you notice this here, if you hold your input for life grip, the second he sees him, it'll go. So you don't have to spam it. You can just hold it down and it'll instantly pull him. So if you were able to, which it's very close, maybe you could have been able to. So if you were holding it and you're aware of this, which you are, you could have maybe gotten him to you. And then the monkey would jump you guys and he'd still die, but at least you tried. There's other situations where maybe that would be more valuable. But it's kind of like, it's even more like you were smart enough to see that. You were smart enough to see what's happening and where he's going to go and how you can try and get him out of it. It's just that with that extra holding down, maybe you can even get the execution. And like I said, the monkey will just jump you guys and he'll still die. But you know what? In another situation, it's a tank. They live.
Life from life.
The Moira is helping too. Maybe they live. Stuff like that. I'd like us to play a little bit closer to the wall where we were earlier or on that back high ground here still. Yeah, we noticed we got a little close. Okay, this ult I don't love. I feel like we just heard a bunch of ults come out and we kind of ulted as well. I really like this pedal. I think we can use this a little bit more. I like this damage too. You had such a good vantage points from that pedal. Very nice. So with that ult too, it was a few people ulting. Your Hanzo ulted, your Moira ulted, and then on the enemy team, the Winston ulted and the Mercy ulted. They didn't beat, did they? No, he's just been low on ult. Okay. So, just because we hear a lot of ults, we can kind of, like, gauge what's gonna happen. If we hear our other support ults, and remember, ults on your team are always in your language. Ults on the enemy team are always in a foreign language, unless, well, it's in the character's language, so if they don't have a foreign language, then it's in English. But rule of thumb is your ults are in English. So if you hear an English support ult, it's highly likely that it's on your own team, and then that should be enough to turn around the game by itself, and then you can try and hold your ult for next fight. It's not always true. I stack support ults more than I probably should, but it's a decent rule of thumb, and I think, especially for an engaging ult where we're pushing in instead of a defensive one, I think that's okay. Even here, I don't mind this. I would like us for just to take this top right high ground, but after you get these healing, just do some damage to this Reaper. If you can force out Wraith, that's a really important cooldown that's going to take him a long time to get back. And if he doesn't even have it, he just goes back here and he can't engage on our Zarya. So I'd also want for us to just pedal ourselves up here, because we have dash to get out, so we can try and take this. We can watch over here and still get some of this healing out, and then if we feel pressured, we can just disengage over back this way. Yeah, even here, damage. Because our Genji isn't low enough for us to warrant healing him. If somebody isn't down 75 health in this scenario, it's not worth healing them. Ooh, this is scary. Yeah, be careful, stand still. Oh, this is a good pick. It's a good attempt. I think we knew he had enough healing because you threw a whole petal into him. So we could have maybe held it, but I'm honestly fine with not risking it. It just sucks because that means we didn't have it for the Tsar. We know he wants to ult when he does that. This is fine. So now that we see when he hits, the Hanzo hits about right here in terms of healing, we can try and start damaging. I personally would probably spam this direction because it's where the Reaper died and it's where this Lucio is now, so it's possible that this Mercy flies in to try and get this res, or we damage the Lucio, and either is worth it to me. If we're just spamming where the res is, that's still worth it. See, there she is now. If we were damaging, we could maybe... We can't kill her from that range. It's unlikely we land enough headshots to get that in time, but it's good. And I like the focus here too. But just adding, like I said, adding that extra pressure creates good scenarios. And even there, we could jump down damage to try and get the shield. I want us in that back high ground here, especially. So in like this scenario in particular, if we were on a pedal up here, or even if we see when the Hanzo gets pushed, if we were on a pedal up here, we are in a much better spot to heal him from like this vantage point, and we don't have to use have downtime trying to get to him to heal him. And it's even possible that he likely would have died if we didn't do this, but if we were on a pedal, we already have LOS of this, this, and this. So we have a pretty decent guise of what's going on, and we have an easier time healing the Hanzo. It's also the same thing as if we're over here. When that Hanzo crossed over, we're still able to heal him. It's a little bit weird because in this position, we lose this LOS in particular. You can see my cursor, so I'll just pull it up. We can't see anything going on from here to here, but we know there's a fight happening over here, and we know that the Winston's over here. So if we were standing right here, we could still probably get these heals, at least when he crossed over here. And we'd be in a decent spot. So this is kind of when having this upward high ground vantage point is very, very beneficial to us. Especially as Lifeweaver. I love this ult. Absolutely fantastic. You knew the Zarya was critical. You knew you didn't have pull. You knew the range of this. It was very good. Very, very good. It fully saved your Zar. Even with this, now that the tree is up, if you have tree up, just go for damage. So when you see this Reaper, just it would be you and Genji against this Reaper. He just wraithed. He won't be able to live this damage between both of you. If your Genji gets low, you can heal him, and we have tree up, so we're in a pretty decent spot. I would just fully push the Reaper after he wraiths and damage him to death. He's also very easily in headshots on. Nice. I suspect they'll hold a grudge. So the other thing now is we take this high ground off to our right again. So the good thing about high grounds like this is we always get them back. So this is what I mean initially when I was in the workshop room, is we had that little downtime. So I want us to position in a little bit more of an aggressive position. This isn't the most aggressive. The most aggressive would be like, we're here. But this would be ridiculous. So if we're just over here, we don't have the fall off, if I recall correctly. He burned projectile, so I doubt it. We can spam from this angle where this Hanzo is, and like I said, if we get pressured, we can just fall down this way, or we can pedal up to here, and then we can fall back this way if we still got pressured from there. So being on these high grounds, very, very nice, especially if you're against a Winston. Surrender to my will. Yeah, because if we were on this high ground, which we were about to be, this whole time we could also have been trying to, as our team is pushing forward, to damage over this way and try and peek this lane and go this way too. So this is very strong. Oh, it's a scary cross, but we made it, so it's fine. So this is now we're in a very kind of scary position because on their team they have 2 people who can boop us quite easily and 2 people who can kill us quite easily. So crossing is a little scary. I'm tempted to say that staying, like, this point in particular, when we're about to cap this, is one of the hardest places to position as a support, in my opinion. I specifically even asked Kobe about it because it's just such a kind of, it's just a cluster in terms of where the heck you should position. So originally we were talking about under here isn't the worst, depending on what your team's doing and what your fight's doing. Is Lifeweaver. I don't really like this position because we're not going to get as much value out of our pedal as possible. I don't mind over here because we are at least with our Hanzo here, and then in this situation is now a 2v1, or if this Lucio wouldn't be here, so a 2v2. And we can try and pedal up, and the Mei is going to have a much harder time killing us if we pedal up. And if our Hanzo gets too low, we can pull him up with us, or he could have gone up with us. So I don't mind over here. The problem is this Bastion is going to be really scary if we're over here. So we could be like right here. And I don't think that's too bad either. Because like I said, this would be a 2v1 because this Lucio wouldn't be over there. He'd be over here. And that's still a very winnable position. And then we could try and dash across this way if anything gets too dicey, or if people have completely given up this high ground, we can try and be here. The biggest thing though is we have to be wary about people coming back. So this position, and like specifically when you're about to cap on this point, it is a very situational of like, what is our team trying to do? Where are we going to be? One thing to note is our Moira is with our Zarya, so we can worry a little bit less about her. And in general, our Moira is going to have a really easy time healing the Zarya. Much easier than we will, and our Moira would have a harder time healing somebody like Genji or Hanzo, and we'd have a very, very easy time doing that. So I think still hugging over this way and not having crossed earlier is probably the best position here. You can make a pretty big debate for either. If we knew the Bastion was there, we could definitely heal our Genji over that way or damage over that way, but probably with a Mei in our face and our Hanzo right there, we'd probably be engaged in this fight. And I just want us to try and stay away from this ledge if possible. Because like I said, let me actually cover one more position. You could also be over this way. It's just I don't think this is a super strong angle, because if you want damage, it's going to be rough. In this position, you can get booped out. And if you want an out in terms of natural cover, it's all the way back here. So in order to get LOS, you kind of have to be all the way over here. And it's just, I don't love this position. I don't hate it. You get value in it later in the game, which is fine. I just think that this position can also be a little bit too aggressive. It is the safest in terms of the enemies are coming at us from 3 different angles, being this way, and this way. So that way is pretty safe. But I kind of do like a little bit more aggressive positioning in this scenario. Not as aggressive as with the Genji, but still a little bit more. Yeah, so now because of that, we're in a really scary spot. Which is fine, we have dash, we're able to get back, good. I like how I actually really do like how we kind of stalled that. It should be very winnable, yeah. Yeah, because your Moira is able to just constantly heal your Zarya, and you're easily heal your DPS, your team has just so much healing output. I think I would like to see us just standing on pedals more. The cooldown is very, very short, so we get to see it again. But my biggest thing, and I think the biggest thing to help you, is weaving in damage, especially. Oh yeah, also this. We could have definitely gone in through this window. So when we had that cooldown, that previous one, I would just hold it when we're that close. So that way we can go through this window and we could be right here. And then we can just go over here and play the natural cover right here. So just be cautious of that and know that that window is there for you to go through. I don't mind this. I'm just scared of the Bastion. Oh my god, we see the Bastion. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, this isn't one of those... yeah. You're very, very good at predicting what's going to happen next. I just think we could have... I think we might have been able to save that fight if we went through that window. It's just they output a lot of damage very fast, and then we weren't able to do anything about it. I want us to hold this position a lot more. So I don't want us to be in this position if the fight is happening. Like, this is really specific. I don't want us here if we can't see the enemies in this position. So if there is a fight happening too far back, like all the way over here, I don't want you there. Because our team will still have LOS on our team, but we won't have to see LOS on the enemies. And I want us to have LOS on enemies. So, but if they're fighting over here, we'll have LOS on them, or they're fighting over here, or even if they're fighting down here, I really like this ledge in particular. It's very strong.
The enemy is pushing their barricade.
And in this position, I would even pedal up the high ground. Nice. And then damage here. Damage, damage, damage. We have a lot of spam damage potential. So this is kind of downtime. We can use it to reposition somewhere. The question is where. So I don't mind this kind of, because we need to try and predict where this fight is going to take place. I like that we didn't pull here, but now we might need to. Nice tree. I keep watching. Weave in damage now that they have tree out. I love this. We have dash. We have pedal if once she gets out of it. Ooh, the reload. Do we choose to do that reload? We did. That's unfortunate. Now that we know that we never have to reload, we never need to force a reload. We just swap weapons. If you just tap the trigger, it'll swap weapons for you. Yeah, even here, even though your Zarya is staring down at 2 people and then soon 3, you don't have to heal her here. I would damage, because the damage you can output right here will pull pressure off of the Zarya, because Lucio might have to amp heal. She has self bubble, so it's even better. The Moira's right behind you, so she'll be able to heal the Zar. And now that we see this, I would just, the second we see this Winston come out, I'm terrified for our life. So I would just rotate over this way if we could. Just walk over this way, and then once we're like right here, dash over this way, because then we can try and help it in this area. And I specifically say walk because we're not going to be pressured with this natural cover all the way over here and all the way over here. But then when we're right here, there's a time where we peak, which that could be scary. So that's when I want us to dash over, and then we're able to possibly heal this. Yeah, unfortunate.
Up and at 'em. Better? I am escorting the robot.
Yeah, even they're trying to get damage on the Lucio. If you're idling and your team's all in full health, just idle with your weapon out. So even here, I would try and do damage. Good pedal. As a situation where it's good to have. Like, we could try and shoot the Mercy there. Isn't okay. We have pedal again. I would definitely pedal ourselves up and then try and dash past the wall. Yeah. And now even here, I'd start switching to damage on the Bastion. And then go back up to that position I told you about earlier. So that way, if we're up there, if we're up here, we can try and spam down this lane while we're waiting for our team to come around. And then if things get too dicey, we can go over this way, or we can spam down this side now too. Either is fine. I kind of like spamming down this. Oh, I kind of like spamming down this lane, and then if we get pushed, we go this way. But I also like spamming down this way because then we don't have to use our dash cooldown if we get pushed. We'll be with the team. Yeah, I like this. I don't love that we're standing still, but it's also okay because what is the brick gonna do? Boop us? Ooh, that's a little scary. I'd be prepared to maybe pedal up against the Bastional. Yeah, but we got a dash, so I'm not too scared. Ooh, I don't mind this. I want his damaging though. When we have tree out, damage. Oh, we definitely could maybe have healed her. Yeah, that's another situation where if we were on a pedal, we could maybe get this pull in. So you could do that just for the LOS. My biggest thing though is with this pedal is we can hear this to our left. There's a Bastion right there. So I'm hesitant about pedaling for too long. But when I see that the Zarya, the barricade is blocking us from the Zarya, I highly think about pedaling up, maybe even over this way, grabbing the Zarya, and then going back down so the Bastion can't get us. But even if we're right here, the Bastion doesn't have LOS. So this isn't too bad. I see us using our brain a lot. I really like it.
The tree is fallen. Take care.
I'm kind of stuck between, this is me kind of, so your dash heals, what, 25 health? I'm pretty sure it's 25. So I think maybe hold it and just keep walking until you get below 175 and then dash. We were at 179, so it wasn't that far off, but maybe we could wait a little bit longer. Especially if we see our Moira trying to help us out. So now I want us in that back high ground position again. See, like I said, you're still in a good position because we're definitely playing around this pillar and the enemy LOS because of it. So I really just want to push our positioning from good, because our senses are good, to great. I know what you're trying to do there, I understand. In my experience as Lifeweaver, it's not worth it. I think pulling people from spawn, the cooldown is too long. You don't get as much value as you do pulling somebody from a bad situation. So I think what we could have done here, and this could have maybe been pretty good, instead of using this pedal, is just use this pedal to get onto this high ground. Then we can try and do a lot of the same stuff we're doing from this high ground, playing around either this natural cover or this natural cover over here. And then we can try and do similar things that we're doing just from over here. And then we probably could pull the Hanzo if we felt that was really, like I said, in my experience, I don't really like taxiing people back from spawn as Lifeweaver. The cooldown is just way, way, way too long. But also being up here isn't too bad either, because then if the Zarya gets too engaged, we can pull her out, like if she's all the way over here. Or if somebody gets jumped on the left side of the bus, we still have a pretty good view of them. So I'm a big, big fan of this position. So now, in an OT situation, your whole team just needs to try and calm down. It's the biggest thing, just regroup, calm down. We have a good pick, but we're just even. But we have a lot of good ults. So just have your, take a breath, don't worry, don't panic, regroup. Yeah, this was a misplay on his part. Honestly, before he ulted, right here,
That should do it.
he's just trying to be a hero. He's not going to be a hero in this situation. I would have pulled him right here. He would have hated me because you can see him right now casting his ult. He would hate me, but it's the right call. Oh, it wasn't him casting his ult. He was just dashing. Yeah, he maybe wouldn't have even ulted. Or if he did ult, he'd be in a better position to begin with. It's like, you guys have grab, you guys have dragon. You could have even grabbed dragon and blade just to make sure they all died. It's unfortunate. So now we're feeling the pressure, and we've kind of chosen to go on point. We don't have to do this. This high ground is very strong. The biggest fear right here is the Winston. So I would just try and play over here, and if you feel the Winston's getting too much, I'd maybe even just pedal right here. And then we can try and do some damage from all the way up here and see what this is going to do. Don't feel the pressure to get on point just because it's OT. The only time you have to do that is if your whole team is dead and they're not. We could have also damaged the Mercy right here, and she probably would have died. Yeah, right here.
Irrepressible.
Yes. Yep.
Care always helps. You're better off with
I'm pretty sure we initiated that reload too, so just very, very cautious of that. If you ever feel yourself reload, just switch weapons. It'll be a good habit to get into. Okay. So I hope that helps, and I hope that kind of opens your eyes to the opportunities for damage that you have, because I find that a lot of Lifeweavers, they don't capitalize on those moments. And then what I was trying to think is, I know, if I recall correctly, you're on console, so Lifeweaver is a great hero on console, flat out. Keep playing him. You definitely have a lot of good senses for it. I think if you just implement these few things and get in these good habits, you'll be in a really good spot. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I hope that was helpful.